Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance and watched the stars through the main window. His ship moved slowly through the darkness of space near the edge of human territory. Jake had been exploring unknown space for 15 years and had never seen anything like what appeared on his screens today. The radar officer turned around with wide eyes. "Captain, you need to see this," she said. Her voice shook as she pointed at the display. "There are ships out there, but they are not ours." Jake walked over to look at the screen. Strange shapes moved through space about 50,000 kilometers away. The ships looked like they were made of crystal and glowed with blue light. They were huge, much bigger than any human ship he had ever seen. "How many are there?" Jake asked. "We count at least 30 ships, sir," the officer replied. "Maybe more behind them." Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was it. First contact with aliens. Every human had wondered when this day would come. He had dreamed about it since he was a boy, but now that it was happening, fear filled his chest. "Send a message to Earth Command," Jake ordered. "Tell them we have found something big." On Earth, Admiral Lisa Kane was eating lunch when the emergency call came through. She was the head of the Terran Defense Force and had spent her whole life preparing for war, but not with aliens. The message from the Defiance made her drop her fork. "Get me President Brooks right now," Lisa told her aide, "and call every ship captain we have." Within an hour, the most important people on Earth sat around a table in the underground command center. President Helen Brooks looked tired but determined as she listened to the reports coming in from space. "The alien ships are not moving toward us yet," Lisa explained. "Captain Morrison is trying to make contact, but they have not responded to any of our signals." "What do we know about their technology?" the president asked. "Their ships are much more advanced than ours," Lisa replied. "They seem to use some kind of energy we do not understand. Our sensors cannot get clear readings on them." Back in space, Jake tried everything he could think of to talk to the aliens. He sent radio signals, light patterns, and even basic math problems. For hours, nothing happened. Then, just as he was about to give up, something came through. The message was not in any language humans knew, but it carried pictures and symbols. Jake called Dr. Peter Walsh, the best language expert in human space. Peter had studied every human language and had theories about how aliens might communicate. "Give me some time," Peter said as he looked at the strange symbols. "This is unlike anything I have ever seen, but there are patterns here." While Peter worked on the message, more alien ships appeared. They came from different directions and surrounded the human colonies on the edge of space. Fear spread through every human settlement as people watched the crystal ships move into position. Jake felt helpless as he watched from his small ship. The aliens had not attacked yet, but their intentions seemed clear. They were getting ready for something big. After 6 hours of work, Peter finally understood part of the alien message. His face went white as he read his translation to the command center on Earth. "They call themselves the Kethvar Empire," Peter said with a shaking voice. "The message is not a greeting. It is a demand." "What kind of demand?" President Brooks asked. Peter looked at his notes again to make sure he had it right. "They say we have 36 hours to leave all our colonies and return to Earth. They claim this entire region of space belongs to them and always has. If we do not obey, they will destroy us all." The room went quiet. Everyone knew what this meant. Humanity had spread to 12 different star systems over the past century. Millions of people lived on colony worlds, mining stations, and research bases. Telling them all to abandon their homes and flee to Earth was impossible. "How sure are you about this translation?" Lisa asked. "Very sure," Peter replied. "They sent the same message in different forms to make certain we understood. There is no mistake about what they want." President Brooks stood up and walked to the window that looked out over the city. Millions of people went about their daily lives, not knowing that everything was about to change. "Send a message to all colonies," she ordered. "Tell them to prepare for evacuation, but do not cause panic. And get our fleet ready for battle." "Ma'am, our ships cannot match their technology," Lisa warned. "I know," the president replied, "but we are not going to surrender without a fight." Jake watched as more alien ships appeared around Earth itself. The crystal vessels moved into position around the planet like they were getting ready to attack. The blue glow from their hulls made Earth's sky look strange and frightening. The 36-hour countdown had begun. Every human in space knew that their species faced its greatest test. The aliens had given them an impossible choice: abandon everything they had built among the stars or face destruction. As Jake looked at the alien fleet surrounding human space, He wondered if his species was strong enough to survive what was coming. The Kethvar Empire seemed to have power beyond human understanding. But humanity had something the aliens might not expect. They had the will to fight for their freedom, no matter what the cost. The Kethvar did not wait for humanity's answer. 20 hours before the deadline, their ships opened fire on the outer colonies. Commander Rick Taylor was drinking coffee on the bridge of his destroyer when the first reports came in. "Sir, we are getting emergency signals from New Denver," his communications officer said. "They are under attack." Rick rushed to the main screen and watched in horror as the colony ship feeds showed what was happening. Purple beams of light struck the surface of New Denver from the alien ships above. Where the beams touched, everything simply disappeared. Buildings, roads, and people vanished as if they had never existed at all. "Get us to New Denver right now," Rick ordered. "Maximum speed." But by the time his small fleet arrived, there was nothing left to save. The planet still existed, but every sign of human life was gone. 3 million people had lived on New Denver just hours before. Now it was an empty world covered in strange glass where the cities used to be. "How is this possible?" Rick whispered as he stared at the dead planet. His science officer ran scans of the surface and shook her head. "The weapons they used, sir, they do not work like anything we understand. It is like they erased matter itself." Rick felt sick as he watched the alien ships move toward their next target. He had 6 destroyers and 2 cruisers under his command. But after seeing what happened to New Denver, he knew his weapons would not be enough. The next target was Kepler 442b, a mining world with 500,000 people. Rick's fleet arrived before the aliens and tried to set up a defense. The miners had old plasma cannons and kinetic weapons left over from the colonial wars, but they were designed to fight other humans, not aliens. When the Kethvar ships appeared, Rick ordered his fleet to attack. Human weapons fired everything they had at the crystal vessels. Plasma bolts and metal slugs moving at incredible speed struck the alien hulls, but nothing happened. The attacks bounced off invisible shields around the ships. "All weapons focus fire on the lead ship," Rick commanded. "Hit them with everything we have." For 10 minutes, 8 human warships poured their firepower into one alien vessel. The space around the crystal ship filled with explosions and energy, but when the smoke cleared, the alien ship was undamaged. Then the aliens fired back. A single beam of twisted energy struck Rick's flagship. The beam did not just destroy the ship, it crushed it into a ball of metal no bigger than a car. The entire crew died instantly as their ship was compressed into a sphere of twisted steel. Rick watched from his escape pod as the same thing happened to his other ships. The alien weapons used gravity itself as a weapon, crushing human vessels like tin cans. Within minutes, his entire fleet was destroyed. The miners on the surface tried to fight, but their weapons were useless. The alien beams erased their cities just like they had erased New Denver. Rick could only watch helplessly as another 500,000 humans vanished from existence. On Mars, Dr. Amanda Foster worked frantically in her weapons research lab. She had pieces of alien technology that human ships had managed to collect before being destroyed. The fragments were small, but they gave her clues about how the Kethvar weapons worked. "They are using dark matter," Amanda told her research team. "These weapons manipulate the stuff that makes up most of the universe, but that we cannot normally see or touch." Her assistant, Dr. Greg Stone, looked at the readings on his screen. "If they can control dark matter, how can we possibly fight them?" Amanda did not have an answer. Human science had barely begun to understand dark matter. The aliens seemed to have mastered it completely. Their ships, weapons, and shields all used dark matter in ways that human physics said should be impossible. News reports from across human space told the same terrible story. Every time the aliens attacked a world, the same thing happened. Human defenses failed completely, and entire populations disappeared. The Kethvar ships moved through space like they owned it, destroying anything humans had built. Captain Nina Clark led the defense of the agricultural world of Harmony. She had 12 ships and 1,000,000 civilians to protect. Like every other human commander, she knew her weapons could not hurt the aliens, but she had to try. "We are not going to let them murder our people without a fight," Nina told her captains over the communication system. "Even if we cannot win, we can make them remember that humans do not give up easily." When the alien ships arrived at Harmony, Nina's fleet attacked immediately. She did not waste time trying to talk or negotiate. The aliens had already shown what they thought of human life. The battle lasted only 30 minutes. Human ships exploded or were crushed one by one as the alien weapons found their targets. Nina's own ship took a direct hit from a gravity weapon, but she managed to keep it flying long enough to ram it into an alien vessel. The collision did no damage to the crystal ship, but Nina's final message became famous across human space. "Tell them we went down fighting," she said just before her ship exploded against the alien hull. Harmony's surface was erased like all the others. Another 1,000,000 humans were gone, but their sacrifice was not forgotten. Videos of Nina's attack spread to every human world, and people began to understand something important. The aliens might have better weapons and ships, but humans had something the Kethvar did not seem to understand. They had the will to fight even when they knew they would lose. They had the courage to stand up to impossible odds and never surrender. Amanda Foster watched the reports from Harmony and felt anger burn in her chest. The aliens thought they could just erase humanity because humans were weaker and less advanced. They thought human lives meant nothing. "We need to find their weakness," Amanda told her team. "Every weapon has a weakness and every shield can be broken. We just have to figure out how." As more colonies fell and more humans died, Amanda worked day and night to understand the alien technology. Somewhere in the fragments of crystal and twisted metal, there had to be an answer. The question was whether she could find it before every human in the galaxy was dead. The alien fleet surrounded Earth like a ring of blue fire. General Ben Rodriguez watched from the underground command center as 50 massive crystal ships took position around humanity's homeworld. Each ship was bigger than any city on Earth, and their weapons could erase entire continents. "Sir, they are charging their weapons," reported Lieutenant Karen Bell from her station. "Energy readings are off our scales." Ben looked at the tactical display showing Earth's orbital defenses. Hundreds of human ships and defense platforms surrounded the planet. But after seeing what happened to the colonies, everyone knew they would not be enough. "All units, prepare for battle," Ben ordered into his microphone. "This is our home. We do not run from here." Captain Nina Clark's sacrifice at Harmony had inspired thousands of volunteers to join the defense fleet. Civilian ships flew alongside military vessels, their crews ready to die protecting Earth. Old cargo haulers carried nuclear weapons, and passenger liners had been turned into missile boats. The first alien attack came at dawn over the Pacific Ocean. Purple beams reached down from the crystal ships and touched the water. Where the beams hit, the ocean itself disappeared, leaving holes miles deep that filled with steam and strange lights. "They are testing their weapons," Ben realized. "They want us to see what they can do." The message was clear. The aliens could destroy all life on Earth whenever they wanted, but they were choosing to go slowly. They wanted humans to suffer and despair before the end came. Above the planet, the space battle began when Admiral Lisa Kane gave the order to attack. Every human ship in Earth's orbit opened fire at the same time. The space around the alien fleet filled with explosions, missiles, and energy beams. For a few seconds, it looked like humans might have a chance. The sheer number of attacks seemed to overwhelm the alien shields, and some energy got through to hit the crystal hulls. Then the aliens fired back. Gravity weapons reached out and crushed entire squadrons of human ships into metal balls. Purple erasure beams made destroyers and cruisers simply vanish from existence. In 10 minutes, half of Earth's defense fleet was gone. Captain Jake Morrison flew his small ship through the chaos, trying to get close enough to one of the alien vessels to do some damage. His Defiance had been upgraded with every weapon Earth could provide, but he knew it would not be enough. "Sir, there is something strange about that big ship," his sensor operator said, pointing at the largest alien vessel. "It looks different from the others." Jake looked at the massive crystal cathedral that floated above Earth's North Pole. The ship was 50 kilometers, long and covered with spires that glowed with inner light. It had to be their command ship. "If we can hurt their flagship, maybe it will make a difference," Jake said. "Set course for that big one." As Jake's ship flew toward the alien command vessel, the battle around Earth continued. Human pilots rammed their ships into alien hulls when their weapons failed. Ground-based missiles launched from every continent, only to be stopped by the invisible shields. Captain Nina Clark had died defending Harmony, but her sister Carol was on Earth working as a tech sergeant in Dr. Foster's research lab. Carol watched the battle reports and felt rage building inside her chest. "There has to be something we can do," Carol told Amanda. "We cannot just sit here and watch them destroy everything." Amanda looked up from the alien technology fragments she was studying. Dark circles under her eyes showed she had not slept in days. I think I found something, she said quietly. The alien weapons create massive amounts of exotic radiation when they fire. What does that mean? Carol asked. It means their weapons have a pattern, Amanda explained. If we can predict where the radiation goes, maybe we can find a way to disrupt it. Amanda showed Carol the readings from her instruments. The alien dark matter weapons followed rules of physics that humans barely understood, but they still followed rules. Every time the weapons fired, they created waves of energy that moved through space in specific ways. More importantly, Amanda continued, I think human brains might be resistant to one of their other weapons. Carol frowned. What other weapons? The aliens are not just using gravity weapons and erasure beams, Amanda said. They are also using some kind of psychic dampening field. It is supposed to make other species give up and stop fighting. Carol thought about this, but humans are still fighting. Exactly, Amanda smiled for the first time in days. Every other species the aliens conquered just surrendered after seeing their power. But humans keep attacking even when they know they will lose. I think our brains work differently than the aliens expected. Above them, the space battle was going badly for humanity. Jake Morrison's ship was one of the last ones still fighting, and he was running out of options. The alien flagship loomed in front of him like a crystal mountain, its weapons charging to fire again. Sir, I am reading something strange, his science officer reported. There are humans inside that alien ship. Jake could not believe what he was hearing. That is impossible. How could humans be inside an alien vessel? I do not know, sir, but the life signs are definitely human. There are at least 50 people in there. Jake realized what must have happened. The aliens were keeping human prisoners, probably to study them or use them as slaves. The thought of his fellow humans trapped inside the crystal ship filled him with determination. We are going to rescue them, Jake decided. Find me a way inside that ship. Meanwhile, on the ground, billions of people watched the battle from their homes and shelters. They saw human ships die one by one as the alien weapons proved too powerful to stop. Fear filled every city as people waited for the purple beams to reach down and erase them from existence. But something unexpected was happening. Even though the aliens were winning, humans were not giving up. Instead of running or surrendering, more people volunteered to fight. Emergency radio broadcasts called for anyone with spacecraft experience to report for duty. This is what the aliens do not understand about us, General Rodriguez said as he watched the reports. The more they hurt us, the angrier we get. Dr. Foster made a breakthrough in her underground lab. She figured out how to interface human brain patterns with captured alien technology. It was dangerous and would probably kill whoever tried it, but it might be their only chance. I need a volunteer, Amanda announced to her research team. This procedure will most likely be fatal, but if it works, we might be able to turn their own technology against them. Without hesitation, Carol stepped forward. I will do it. Carol, you could die, Amanda warned. Carol looked at the screens showing the battle above. Human ships were dying by the dozens, and soon the aliens would start destroying cities on the surface. My sister died fighting these things, Carol said. If I can help stop them, then it is worth the risk. Amanda nodded and began preparing the equipment. If her theory was right, Carol would become the first human able to directly control alien technology. If she was wrong, Carol would die in agony. Either way, humanity was about to discover just how far they were willing to go to protect their home. Carol screamed as the alien technology connected to her brain. Electric pain shot through her skull as Dr. Foster's machine tried to link her human mind to the captured Kethvar communication device. For 30 seconds, Carol thought she was going to die. Then suddenly the pain stopped. Carol opened her eyes and gasped. She could hear voices in her head, but they were not human voices. The aliens were talking to each other, and somehow she could understand them. It worked, Amanda whispered in amazement. Carol, can you hear me? I can hear you, Carol replied, but I can also hear them. The aliens are talking about their next attack on Earth. Carol closed her eyes and focused on the alien voices in her mind. What she heard made her blood run cold. Amanda, they are not what we think they are, Carol said urgently. The Kethvar are not a powerful empire. They are dying. Through the neural link, Carol could access the alien communication network. She saw images and data that the Kethvar were sending to each other. Their homeworld was gone, destroyed by their own experiments with dark matter. Their entire civilization was running on failing technology, and most of their people were already dead. They only have a few thousand individuals left, Carol explained. These ships around Earth are not just an invasion fleet. They are refugees looking for a new home. Amanda felt shocked. If they are dying, why are they trying to kill us? Because they think it is the only way to survive, Carol replied. Their planet cannot support life anymore, so they need Earth. But they believe humans and Kethvar cannot live on the same world. The alien voices in Carol's head became more urgent. She could sense that they were preparing for a massive attack on Earth's surface. They planned to erase every major city and then land their ships to claim the planet. We have to warn everyone, Carol said. They are about to start killing billions of people. Meanwhile, above Earth, Captain Jake Morrison had found a way inside the alien flagship. His small ship slipped through a gap in the crystal hull, while the massive vessel was distracted by the battle. Jake and his crew moved carefully through strange corridors filled with blue light. The life signs are coming from that direction, his science officer whispered, pointing down a hallway that seemed to be made of living crystal. They found the human prisoners in a large chamber near the center of the ship. 50 people floated in crystal pods filled with glowing liquid. Jake recognized some of them as crew members from ships that had been destroyed weeks ago. Get them out of there, Jake ordered his team. As they worked to free the prisoners, Jake noticed something important. The alien technology around them was old and breaking down. Cables sparked with unstable energy, and some of the crystal walls had cracks running through them. Sir, this ship is falling apart, one of his engineers reported. Their power systems are barely working. Jake realized that Carol was right. The aliens were not as powerful as they seemed. They were using their last remaining resources to attack humanity, hoping to win quickly before their technology failed completely. One of the rescued prisoners was Colonel Troy Watson, a special forces officer who had been captured during the battle for Kepler 442b. Troy had been awake inside his crystal pod and had learned to understand some of the alien language. Captain, I have been listening to them for weeks, Troy said urgently. The Kethvar are terrified of something. They keep talking about humans being different from other species they have conquered. Different how? Jake asked. Every other species they attacked just gave up after seeing their power, Troy explained. But humans keep fighting even when they know they cannot win. The aliens do not understand why we do not surrender. Jake smiled grimly. Because we are too stubborn to know when we are beaten. Troy nodded. That is exactly what scares them. They have conquered 12 other civilizations, but none of them fought back like humans do. Back on Earth's surface, Dr. Foster was preparing more volunteers for the neural interface procedure. Word had spread about Carol's success, and hundreds of people wanted to volunteer, even knowing they might die. Pastor Larry Miller was the first to step forward. He was 60 years old and had lost his entire congregation when the aliens attacked Denver. If this is how I can serve God and humanity, he said, then I am ready. Engineer Sandy Beck volunteered next. She had designed the orbital platforms that the aliens destroyed, and her husband had died defending them. I want to make those crystal ships pay for what they did, she said with tears in her eyes. One by one, Dr. Foster connected the volunteers to the alien technology. Some died screaming as their brains could not handle the connection. Others survived but went insane from the alien voices in their heads. But a few, like Carol, successfully linked to the Kethvar network. We are calling you the Neural Strike Force, General Rodriguez told the survivors. You are humanity's secret weapon. The Neural Strike Force discovered that they could do more than just listen to alien communications. With concentration, they could actually disrupt alien technology. When Carol focused on one of the Kethvar ships, she could make its shields flicker and fail. The aliens use psychic energy to control their machines, Carol explained. But human minds work differently. We can interfere with their control systems. Sandy Beck found that she could overload alien weapons by sending feedback through their own network. It is like introducing a computer virus, she said. But instead of using code, we use human thoughts. As the Neural Strike Force practiced their new abilities, the alien fleet prepared for their final attack on Earth. The Kethvar had decided to end the battle quickly by erasing every major city on the planet in one coordinated strike, but they did not know that humans were listening to every word they said. Carol and the other Neural Strike Force members heard the aliens planning their attack and quickly warned Earth's defenders. They are going to fire on every continent at the same time, Carol reported to the command center. but their ships have to lower their shields to charge their big weapons. General Rodriguez saw the opportunity immediately. That gives us a window to attack. How long do they need to charge their weapons? About 10 minutes, Sandy replied. But sir, even with their shields down, our weapons still cannot hurt their ships very much. Maybe our regular weapons cannot, Rodriguez said with a grim smile. But you can. The Neural Strike Force is going to attack them from the inside, while our fleet attacks from the outside. The plan was desperate and dangerous. The Neural Strike Force members would have to maintain their mental attacks on the alien ships, while human pilots flew suicide missions against the weakened vessels. Are you ready for this? Dr. Foster asked Carol and the other survivors. Carol thought about her sister Nina, who had died ramming her ship into an alien vessel. She thought about the billions of people on Earth who were counting on them to succeed. We are ready, Carol said. Let us show these aliens what humans are really capable of. The final battle for Earth was about to begin, and for the first time since the invasion started, humanity had a real chance to win. The final battle began when every human ship in the solar system converged on Earth. Admiral Lisa Kane commanded the attack from her damaged cruiser, while General Rodriguez coordinated the defense from underground. The Neural Strike Force sat in their chairs, connected to alien technology, ready to sacrifice their minds to save their species. All units, this is Admiral Kane, Lisa announced over the communication system. Today we fight not just for Earth, but for the right of humanity to exist among the stars. Captain Jake Morrison emerged from the alien flagship just as the battle started. He had spent 3 weeks hiding inside the crystal ship, sabotaging their systems and learning their weaknesses. His small team had planted explosives throughout the vessel, but they needed the perfect moment to detonate them. Jake to Earth Command, he transmitted. The flagship is ready to blow, but I need the Neural Strike Force to drop their shields first. Carol heard Jake's message through her neural link. She could sense the alien flagship's massive power core, barely contained by failing crystal matrices. If the shields dropped at the wrong time, the explosion would destroy half of Earth's orbital space. I can do it, Carol said, but I will not survive the feedback. Dr. Foster put her hand on Carol's shoulder. You do not have to do this alone. Around the research facility, the other Neural Strike Force members joined their minds together. Pastor Larry Miller, Sandy Beck, and 23 other survivors linked their consciousness through the alien network. Together, they were strong enough to attack every keth of our ship at once. For humanity, Carol whispered, and then she screamed. The neural attack hit the alien fleet like a psychic hurricane. Every keth of our ship suddenly found its shields failing and weapons misfiring. The aliens had never experienced anything like it. For the first time in their history, another species was using their own technology against them. Now, Admiral Kane shouted, all ships attack. Hundreds of human vessels swarmed the alien fleet. Missiles and energy weapons that had been useless before now tore through the failing shields. Plasma cannons melted crystal hulls and kinetic weapons shattered the ancient vessels. But the Neural Strike Force was paying a terrible price. One by one, the volunteers burned out their minds maintaining the psychic attack. Pastor Larry Miller died with a smile on his face, knowing he had helped save Earth. Sandy Beck lasted long enough to see 3 alien ships explode before her heart stopped. Jake Morrison felt the flagship shudder around him as Carol's mental assault disrupted its power systems. Now or never, he said, and triggered the explosives his team had placed throughout the ship. The alien flagship tore itself apart from within. The massive crystal cathedral that had dominated Earth's sky broke into burning pieces that fell toward the planet like shooting stars. The explosion was so bright that people on the ground could see it through the atmosphere. With their command ship destroyed, the remaining Kethvar vessels lost coordination. Human pilots pressed their advantage, ramming damaged ships and targeting the crystal spires that seemed to control their weapons. Captain Nina Clark's sacrifice weeks earlier had inspired thousands of volunteer pilots. They flew converted civilian ships loaded with nuclear weapons, trading their lives to destroy alien vessels. Every human ship that died took at least one alien ship with it. Dr. Foster watched her Neural Strike Force die one by one, their minds burning out from the strain of controlling alien technology. Only Carol and 3 others were still alive, but they were fading fast. Carol, you can stop now, Amanda said desperately. You have done enough. Not yet, Carol replied through gritted teeth. There are still ships left. Carol could sense the fear growing in the alien minds connected to her. The Kethvar had never lost a battle before, and they did not know how to handle defeat. Many of them were simply shutting down their ships and giving up, but their military commander, a Kethvar named Zethkara, refused to surrender. His ship was the largest one left, and he was preparing to destroy Earth's major cities, even if it meant his own death. If we cannot have this world, Zethkara transmitted to his surviving ships, then no one will. Colonel Troy Watson, now commanding a captured alien vessel, intercepted the transmission. He had learned enough of their language during his imprisonment to understand what they planned. Earth Command, the aliens are going for a final strike, Troy warned. They are targeting population centers. General Rodriguez watched the tactical display as the remaining Kethvar ships positioned themselves over Earth's biggest cities. Even damaged, they had enough firepower to kill billions of people. Neural Strike Force, can you stop them? Rodriguez asked desperately. Carol's voice was barely a whisper now. We can try, but there are not enough of us left. That was when something unexpected happened. All across Earth, people began volunteering for emergency neural interface procedures. Dr. Foster had published her research on the global network, and scientists everywhere were building makeshift connection devices. Thousands of people lined up at hospitals and research centers, knowing they would probably die but wanting to help anyway. Teachers, farmers, mechanics, and students all volunteered to have their brains connected to alien technology. Most of them died instantly. The neural interface was crude and dangerous, and human minds were not designed to handle alien psychic networks. But some survived long enough to join the attack. A retired teacher named Bob Williams in Chicago managed to disrupt an alien weapon just long enough for it to miss his city. A mechanic named Sue Johnson in Tokyo overloaded an alien ship's power core, causing it to explode before it could fire. All across the planet, ordinary humans sacrificed their lives to protect their world. The aliens found themselves under attack not just by trained soldiers, but by an entire species that refused to surrender. Zethkara's ship was the last one left. The Kethvar commander stared at his displays in disbelief as his mighty fleet was destroyed by primitive humans using captured technology. This is impossible, he said to his dying crew. They are just animals. Carol heard his words through the neural link and felt anger burn through her failing mind. With her last breath, she sent a message directly into Zethkara's consciousness. We are not animals, she said. We are humans, and we do not give up. Carol's mind burned out completely, but her final attack overloaded every system on Zethkara's ship. The alien commander died screaming as his vessel exploded in a ball of blue fire above Earth's atmosphere. The battle was over. Of the 50 Kethvar ships that had surrounded Earth, none remained. The alien invasion had ended in fire, just as the title of their story promised. But humanity's victory came at a terrible cost. Thousands of volunteers had died in the neural attacks, and entire fleets of human ships had been destroyed. The colonies that had been erased could never be rebuilt. In the aftermath, surviving Kethvar from damaged escape pods were found floating in space. Instead of executing them, Admiral Kane ordered them to be rescued. The aliens who had tried to destroy humanity were brought aboard human ships and given medical care. Why are you helping us? Asked Veltara, one of the few remaining Kethvar scientists. We tried to kill your entire species. Dr. Foster, exhausted but alive, looked at the alien through the medical bay window. Because that is what humans do. We fight like hell when we have to, but we also know when to show mercy. The war was over, but the real test was just beginning. Two species that had tried to destroy each other now had to find a way to live together. The Kethvar needed a new home, and Earth needed to heal from the wounds of invasion. Maybe we can learn from each other, Foster suggested to the alien scientist. Your people have knowledge of dark matter that could help us explore the galaxy. And maybe we can teach you something about courage and determination. Veltara considered this. Her people had ruled through fear and superior technology for centuries, but they had been defeated by a species that simply refused to give up. Perhaps, the alien said quietly, there is wisdom in your stubbornness. The story of the Xeno invasion would be remembered for generations. It was the day humanity proved that advanced technology and superior firepower could not defeat the human spirit. When faced with impossible odds, humans did not surrender or despair. They fought with everything they had, and they won. The invasion began with alien arrogance and human fear, but it ended in fire that forged two species into something new. Neither the Kithvar nor humanity would ever be the same, and perhaps that was exactly what the galaxy needed.